anywhere with the free WMAY mobile app. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
This will greatly impact 2.4 million FOID card law-abiding citizens in the state of Illinois that strongly believe in their Second Amendment rights. 2.4 million Illinoisans. I do ask, let's try this again. We need discussion, and I do ask a vote no, please, on this bill.
That was State Representative Tom Bennett, who's actually going into the state Senate starting today. That was yesterday on the House floor, the final day of legislative action for the 102nd General Assembly, and the 103rd General Assembly will be seated today. But on that last day, they passed a bill that bans certain semi-automatic guns and magazines and requires a registry of those guns that are already legally in gun owners' hands to be associated with your firearm owner identification card in Illinois. But the governor signed it last night. He did not hesitate. He did not wait. Once he got it there, he was able to sign it, but only after some speeches and whatnot. And we'll hear a little bit more of what the governor had to say coming up in the next hour with your phone calls. But after the measure passed yesterday, I reached out to Dan Eldridge. He's with Federal Firearms Licensees of Illinois. That's the association that represents gun stores in the state of Illinois. He runs Maxon Shooter Sports out of Des Plaines, and we got his reaction to what exactly is going on here, especially now with customers. How are customers going to be impacted by this? And it's interesting to hear some of the kind of minutia of the bill. Here is Dan Eldridge from Maxon Shooter Sports and Federal Firearms Licensees of Illinois.
Well, the Senate inserted a provision that allows us to complete sales for which the background check was started prior to the effective date of this, or prior to or on the effective date of this legislation. So if it's today, for example, any firearm that's purchased today, where we could start the background check, we'll still be able to deliver that firearm to the customer. However, there's no similar treatment of magazines. So the magazines themselves would not be deliverable. So we're now in the position of delivering non-functioning firearms to people.
So Eldridge, of course, talking before the governor signed the bill, but after it passed the House. So now it's effective. You can no longer go out to a gun store and purchase a semi-automatic gun or a magazine of 10 or more for long guns or 15 or more for handguns. Those are now prohibited, immediately effective after the governor signed that legislation last night. But Eldridge talking about the lawsuits and how they plan on moving forward with these lawsuits.
Well, Greg, we didn't choose to have this fight, but there's an element of looking forward to it because we're on such good footing with the Supreme Court and Bruin that the likelihood of getting injunctive relief very quickly is high. The dealers are engaged. The memberships of FFLIL has gone straight up. We've raised substantial money for this fight. We're looking forward to being in court maybe as early as next week.
And Eldridge also talked about the plan to tackle the law in various capacities and looking at not just the gun ban, the gun registry, but also the magazine ban. And they will have those lawsuits filed. Here's more of his thoughts about moving forward with that litigation.
So again, we have very good footing with the Supreme Court. Senator Harman said yesterday that the Supreme Court thinking on 2A issues is in flux. That view does not comport with reality. The Bruin decision, New York carry law, it killed New York's carry law, and along with the California, New Jersey mag limits, Maryland assault weapon ban, unambiguously. And then yesterday in New Jersey, a federal judge enjoined the state from enforcing what people were calling the kill carry law, which basically forbade the carrying of concealed firearms by licensees anywhere outside of their home. So this stuff is not going to last. It's an unfortunate waste of everybody's time and resources. You even had Bob Morgan today hemming and hawing about their inability to find analogous case law to sustain any challenge to this. It's not going to last. We will win, and when we're done with this, we'll have an energized membership base. We'll have a pretty big war chest, and we're going to go after everything else that we can.
So again, that's Dan Eldridge. He's with Federal Firearms Licensees of Illinois, reacting to that measure passing and the governor signing it last night. And you had the Illinois State Rifle Association also put out their message yesterday saying, "Dear Governor Pritzker, President Harmon, Speaker Welch, challenge accepted. The Illinois State Rifle Association will see the state of Illinois in court." And earlier this morning, if you missed it, we talked with John Bach from Gun Save Life, and they fully anticipate that they'll have that lawsuit filed as early as next week and getting injunctive relief as early as possibly February. Now, the measure, it doesn't require you to register your firearms until between October 1st and January 1st of 2024. But regardless, the future sale of semi-automatic weapons and certain magazine capacities prohibited in the state of Illinois. We'll get your reaction to that next here with Springfield's Morning News. So stay tuned. That's coming up in about 10 minutes on WMA.